Welcome to the Beyond the Vines podcast, where I interview local business owners in Sonoma County to highlight small business and grow our community. I'm your host, Amy Ehlers, a mom, realtor, and Sonoma County native, and I'm excited to connect you to some amazing people in this beautiful area that we call home. Welcome back to the Beyond the Vines podcast. Thanks again for listening. I would love if you could hit like and subscribe if you're really liking the episodes that you're hearing. It helps these small businesses so much, and I've really appreciated everyone's support of this. It's been so fun to have everyone in. We are back on another stormy day. I gotta say, I'm getting a little tired of this weather, and so that's why I am really excited for today's podcast because it gets me very excited for spring. I am here today with Alison Tanzer. She's the owner of Picnic Potential. I have used Alison in the past. She's incredibly talented. She has done my daughter's birthday party, and I was just so impressed, and I've followed her ever since. So I'm so excited to bring her here today so that you can all get to meet her as well. So welcome, Alison. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. I really appreciate it.
You are just so talented. So I'm so in awe of even having you here.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. So can you tell us a little bit about what Picnic Potential is and what inspired you to start it?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the first questions we always get asked is if it came from COVID. It actually did not come out of COVID. Just prior, actually, like a few months before, I had a get together with my girlfriends, and they asked me, why don't I start like a charcuterie business? Because every time we have a party, I just like to entertain.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a long line of entertainers. My mom and both my sisters, fantastic at it. So I did start to consider that and look into it. And I saw that there were a lot of local companies that do it. And I am a big believer in not doing something kind of just for your own ego. If you start something new, it should be because there's a hole in the market. So I don't want to take anything away from other small businesses that are doing it and killing it. Mm-hmm. We have so many great ones in Sonoma County. But in researching different ideas, I came across this idea of doing picnics, and I looked, and there was nothing like it in the wine country, and what goes better with a wine experience than a picnic,
Absolutely.
Right? So I put it together, and 2 months later we went live, and it's been fantastic ever since.
Yeah, you are so booked out. I also want to say it's so interesting to hear this too from you, because I know you have this incredible creative side to you,
right.
But then also hearing the business, you're looking for the hole in the market. It's so amazing to hear all of that and how it all came together.
Thank you. Yeah. It also all came from a lot of conversations with my female friends about, the typical commiserating about relationships and everything. And, you always hear women say, and I always joke about the movie, The Breakup, because there's a scene where she says to her boyfriend, her long-term boyfriend, I want you to want to do the dishes. I want you to plan a date night. I want to go to the ballet, all these funny things. And every woman relates to that.
Right.
And so when one of the appeals to this was the idea of, I want to help guys be able to easily put together a date night, or girls for their girlfriends.
Totally.
Your female friends or whatever the occasion, but to just make it easier, because a lot of people want to do these things, but they have no idea, or they don't want to buy all the stuff.
That's a good point
for a
too.
one-time Galentine's or whatever. So
prom invite or whatever it is.
Exactly. So
wow, that makes sense too. I was thinking more the creative side, where do I even start? But also that's a big investment for them to have to buy everything, whereas you have it ready to go.
Exactly. And that's one of the first questions people ask us. Where do you store everything? How do you store everything?
I would actually like to know that. Where do you store everything and how do you store everything?
So we have grown and grown and grown, and now we have 2 large storage units. And hopefully eventually we'll move to a warehouse. It's very hard to find in Sonoma County, especially post fires.
Yep.
It's really hard, but so far we make do.
That's amazing. Yeah. That is really amazing. What are some of the unique picnic offerings or event experiences that you provide in Sonoma County, and also events that you do? Because I know you do small events as well.
Yeah. Well, actually, we do different types of events in the sense of when I started this business, I thought that it was going to be a lot of small date nights and gatherings, and it's not. We almost are always booked with very large events. We do groups of up to 100.
Wow, that's a big
uncommon.
event.
Yeah. So for our typical customers, we do 1 million bachelorette parties.
Oh, I'm sure.
Which I love. And come across so many fun ideas for those. And then we do corporate events too. And during COVID, that was a huge help because sometimes we were able to set up meetings where people could stay 6 feet apart and still have like whoever come in and do a training, or whatever. So we were very unique in that way for businesses and for birthday parties. Kids were able to still have birthday parties, but literally we set up 6 feet apart so that each kid had their own picnic. And we loved being able to provide that service so that they didn't have to miss out on those big moments. As far as the unique offerings, like you can add all kinds of things, especially Sonoma County is so filled with so many people who do sound baths, yoga. We just started talking to a company that comes and does like the clearing, like with sage.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we've had people add all of those kinds of services. And
great.
We're happy again to help connect people to those.
That's amazing. Thinking of like the saging, that would be good for like a new house, like a housewarming or even like a divorce party or like things like that. I know that's a trend.
No, so it's so funny you said that. No, I'll tell you, this is one that I think my sister also, Stephanie shared.
Yes.
And she does local social media and everything. And so she and I bounce ideas off of each other all the time. And she is really, her sense of style and decor and her talent with staging and everything definitely plays into what I'm able to offer to people. But she has a local Halloween show, All Hallows Art Fest.
Oh, yes.
So because of that, and I have to preface it so this doesn't seem weird, because of that, she has like a big coffin that she uses. And so we have set up divorce ones that he's dead to me.
That's fantastic.
And it's awesome. And we love like helping people find the fun and the joy in that moment. Because sometimes it is a relief.
Yes. And that is what people need in those moments. They often need the comic relief and something pretty. Like everything you've set up is so beautiful. It's such a great way to make things special and also kind of bring some joy to people when they really need it.
Yeah, absolutely. We love being part of things like that.
Oh, it's so cool. That coffin is hilarious. I'm like totally picturing it.
Right. But I have to preface it because I can't just say my sister just has a coffin.
She just has a coffin laying around the house. That's amazing. So what is included in your different package options?
Sure. So our packages are based on the seating style that you're going to want for your event. So the typical picnic style is the dining table down the center. That comes with ground cover, cushions for each guest, the table, the place settings, table decor, and then people add on things like flowers, desserts, food, charcuterie, whatever you'd like. So that's the kind of typical package.
Great.
And then we have a lounge style setup, which is still the ground cover, still the cushions. And then there's like a small table. There's basically places for you to put like a plate down or a glass, but it doesn't have the dining table down the center.
Right.
So a lot of people like to use lounge style if you're going to do like a backyard movie night, or if you're going to do an area at a baby shower where it's just for opening gifts. It's just an informal place. And then we also do tablescapes, which are if you're somebody that has a beautiful table in your backyard, you have the chairs, or if you want us to provide those because you don't want to sit on the ground, which I completely understand and I get it.
Yep.
We offer that too. That you can still have the same fun. You still have someone else coming and doing all the work so that you can relax and enjoy your time with your friends, but we take care of the decor. And then this year we're offering a brand new package, which is a cabana party.
I saw that. That is so cool.
I'm so excited. We're going to start off offering them only at Kendall Jackson and Ramsgate Winery, but eventually people can add them to picnics as well. But so it's the full cabana, chairs, cooler, decor, still ground cover, still cushions, because some people may still want to. But it's nice because you have chairs, so you can have like your special setup at a winery, but have shade, have comfort, and still have really a vacation feel while you get their amazing wine.
And good choices in your first two wineries that you're kind of partnering with. Those are both stunning.
I love them both. They've been such great partners.
That's amazing.
What I love about both of them is they're up for the ideas. They are so conscious of trying to bring something unique to their customers.
Fantastic.
And I love that they have the same, like, what else can we do mentality that I have.
That's incredible. What a good partnership.
Yeah.
Oh, I love hearing that. That's amazing. So again, as I mentioned, you have the most incredible design eye. Do you have a background in design or event design, or is it just from your family being so talented?
Right.
Yeah.
If my mom was here, she would definitely say that.
She'd take the credit.
Yes, she would definitely take the credit. But yeah, so she was a huge entertainer. My two sisters both are, phenomenal. We all have had jobs where we do events. So a lot of it definitely comes from that.
Wow.
And then my middle sister, Stephanie, the one that's local, she has been an antiques dealer forever.
Amazing.
And so I always loved that. And I always incorporated that in my own home. And I've pulled that into the business a lot because I want our decor and everything we do to be unique.
Yes.
I don't want it to be all things that people can get and see at local
For sure.
retail stores.
Yep.
I know that works for other companies and that's fine. But for us, I want it to be unique and I want every setup to be different. And we get clients that really appreciate that and say, oh my God, I've never seen anything like that. Or I would never have thought to use this piece in that way or whatever it is.
Right.
So, but yeah, I've always done large events. I used to do corporate fundraising. And then for a long time, I had a job that did a lot of large events too.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I think, backtracking a little bit, the fact that you do curate those pieces, I think people really, that makes a difference. It makes you so necessary for people as well, because like I would not know where to find them and I would probably just go to Target and it would not have the same feel.
Yeah. We hear that all the time.
Yes.
People always say that like, oh, I would never think to use that. Like one of the things that I love, the Petaluma Antique Fair. The Downtown Association does a great job putting that event on. And one of the vendors is Warped Table, and they have these antique brick molds. Wow. And I use those to display desserts. We've used them to do roses to look like the French flag for Bastille Day.
Amazing.
We've used them for like business cards at events, like a million things. And people always look at those and they're like, I never would have thought, because you can do so many things. And the Antique Fair is great for that.
The Antique Fair is so fun down here.
I love it.
It's really amazing. We're so lucky. All of the things we do right here.
I keep that like blocked off on my calendar.
Yes.
Like people try to book picnics and I'm like,
sorry, Antique Fair. I got to restock.
Well, and the funny thing is my sisters and I are often there together. And people always say like, oh, you guys are those funny sisters, or oh, you guys are those triplets. And we're like, we're not triplets. And, but we hear people talk as we walk by.
It's so funny.
Or I hear them say, that's that picnic girl.
That's the picnic girl.
I'll take it.
I mean, that's kind of a good thing to be known for.
Yeah, exactly. They're worse, right?
Next time you're at the Antique Fair, though, we're usually here in the office on that day and like hanging out front. So come see us.
Oh, I will for sure.
Come use the restroom if you need to, too. I always tell people that. I'm like, oh, it's hard downtown.
Yes.
So Sonoma County offers such a diverse range of landscapes and vineyards. We talked a little bit about Ramsgate. We talked a little bit about Kendall Jackson. How do you select the perfect picnic spot for your customers?
Sure. So it's really dependent on what they're going for. So we do a lot of proposals. Some people want that to be a very private experience, but a lot of people want it out in the open. So it depends on that. It also depends on like if they're doing a bachelorette party, then they may not want to do it at a public park. Not that we don't all love children, but
maybe not the right vibe.
Maybe not in that moment. So we just try to think about those locations. And I also try to find locations that people aren't expecting.
I love that.
That's always really fun. Like one of the best is Bell Farm Collective here in Petaluma.
Gorgeous.
It's indoor. It's cozy. Julia, the owner, is phenomenal to work with. The property is gorgeous and like perfectly maintain the whole property. And clients love it. It has that rustic Petaluma Sonoma feel, while still being like a great setting for what we do.
Yep. That's brilliant. I think too, because you probably get a lot of people traveling to Sonoma County for things like that. And so I feel like that is like a quintessential Petaluma feel to it, Sonoma County feel to it.
Yeah.
So that's
what I love about her location is several times we've had people, particularly, I think they were both bachelorettes, but where their party convinced them that they were going horseback riding.
Oh, how funny.
And it was people that are apprehensive to want to. And so they're kind of like trying to be a good sport. They're like, okay, great. And then we open the door and here's this.
That's so cool.
And they're like, oh, thank God.
Thank God I'm not getting on a horse.
Exactly.
That is so awesome. So do you partner with any local vendors for events?
Yes, we try to keep all of our vendors local as possible. There are so many great ones in the Bay Area, but Petaluma and Sonoma County has so many talented people that it's a very targeted goal to keep the dollars here and keep these businesses supported. So, and honestly, I have vendors that are so good at what they do and they're so dependable, which for what I do is very important because this service is not cheap and clients have to know that the level of service is going to be high for every detail.
Yep.
So in Petaluma, like for example, we use Sweet Sugar Smith for all of our bakery stuff.
Amazing.
And she is a huge local talent that I think people don't even know enough about. But
I need to meet her.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
she's
sure I've
done
eaten
amazing.
her cookies.
She does our place card cookies, every baked yummy deliciousness. And again, she's been down for every challenge I've given her. And I will call my vendors and be like, okay, I have a crazy idea. You can say no. You can absolutely say no. Risco Designs in Roner Park does all of our acrylic place cards and signage and custom signs for like our mimosa bars and stuff like that. And again, she always answers already laughing because she knows it's going to be a challenge. Yeah, like what is this going to be? And she's down to try it all. And that's
amazing.
Our florist is local here in Petaluma, Marmalade Sky Floral. She's downtown across from, right next to Yankee Girl Antiques.
So talented.
And her flowers, I mean, they just elevate everything. She is an artist. Like what she comes up with.
Incredible.
When we were talking about things I would never think of.
Yes.
We were doing a memorial one and she had like heads of cabbage.
Wow.
And it was phenomenal.
That's amazing.
The client couldn't believe it. And I was like, I would never think of that.
That is incredible.
I could go to floral school and I would never
still never think of that.
Yeah.
I love that she kind of matches you in that and that you're both such creative people that take it to the next level.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is so great. And catering too. Who do you work with for catering?
Oh yeah. So we originally started out with Preferred Sonoma Caterers and I owe a lot to Amber and Annie and their whole team because Amber is so great at connecting local business with other local businesses and women supporting other women. I mean, they were really phenomenal with that. And then we also use our other primary caterer is Apple Spice, which is Lakeville.
They do a great job
and
too.
I think a lot of people don't even realize because they do a lot of corporate lunch stuff, but all of their stuff is great. They do an amazing baked potato bar that clients love.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
And then we do charcuterie with Board and Bounty, Field and Farm. And locally, there's a new one, La Bella Charcuterie.
Yes, she just did my Super Bowl platter for me.
Yeah, she did one for Steph too. Yes, they were
She's
so cute.
Amazing. Shout out to Amy. That was a great platter.
Yes, she does great work. And all of them, again, they just are all always up for the challenge and the crazy things that we come up with.
So awesome. I love that you have found people that match that because you can see it in your work. It's incredible.
Yeah, and I love that they go as hard for me.
Yes.
You know, and we all try to, the really important thing about all of them from a business perspective is we all are willing to jump in and help each other. We've all shown up at an event and been like, oh, there's not enough of this or that, or hey, do you have tape? Do you have this? And nobody says like, well, I did my job.
Right.
Like, here you
I'm
go.
leaving now.
Yeah. Everyone is so supportive of each other.
I love that. Well, and everybody probably has the same goal too of making it special for the client.
Yeah.
I love that. That's fantastic. Can you share any memorable stories or experiences or a favorite event that you've done?
I love the kid ones.
Yes.
Especially because which is funny, I've been at other community events. I had one just recently where a little girl came up. She ran across the room and just hugged like my legs. And so, of course, I looked down. I'm like,
hi. Who's this child hanging at me?
She's like, you did my birthday party. And it was like the most amazing.
Yes.
You know what's really crazy is my sister said to me, we were recently at Cafe Bellini, and she said, hey, remember that baby shower we did for Jessica Kane, who's a local, she does Pilates instructor.
Yes, yeah.
And I said, oh, yeah. And she's like, that's the baby right there. And it was
funny.
Like, oh, my gosh, like to see the full circle.
Yes.
Yeah, so like those kind of moments are definitely my favorite.
That's so cool. Yeah, I mentioned off the mic too, before we started recording too, you did my oldest daughter's birthday party. I want to say it was her 10th birthday. And so I mentioned to her this morning at breakfast, I'm like, guess who's coming on today? And she totally remembered you, totally remembered the party, even though it was a few years ago. Right. Yeah, like she was so excited to hear you were coming in.
That's awesome.
So fun. I love on your website the send a hint feature. I would love for you to describe that and also how you came up with that. That is so cute.
Sure. So a lot of times when we're setting up a picnic, we will see couples walk by, and a lot of times they will like loudly joke, like we're in on the right. They'll say, like, you'll see someone like, how come you never do that for me? Or people will just say, oh, I wish my so-and-so would do that. And that really got me thinking, because how do we initiate something like that without literally shaking them and be like, plan a date? So the send a hint is designed to help with that. So if you want your person, you go on the site, you hit select or send a hint, and you provide their email, their name, and whatever occasion you have coming up. So if your anniversary is coming up, you click that box.
Which they might also need a reminder about.
Like, hey, are you looking for ideas for an anniversary? And that way everybody wins, you know, because ultimately in having the conversations that I've had with my guy friends and clients, they actually want to do these things, but they get so intimidated that they're not going to do the right thing, that they don't know where to go to get the stuff, or that it's just going to be overwhelming, that then they just don't.
Which it probably would be, to be honest, for most people.
But if you talk to most women will say, I've told him I don't care if we eat peanut butter and jelly at the park. I just want him to think to do something. So we want to make that as easy as possible.
That is amazing. And that was such a cute idea when I came across it. I'm like, ooh, send a hint. And if my husband's listening, I'm not going to send it, but listen to this podcast and call Allison. He does listen, so I'm hoping you heard that.
Yeah, there you go.
So what are some of the challenges you've faced as a small business owner in the hospitality industry?
So I would say in this area specifically, one of the tough things, because what we do is sort of new, is some of the people that, you know, provide and want permits and things like that for venue spaces and like local parks and things like that. They are built, and their process is built around people who want to book something large, like a wedding or a community event like a marathon. Which is fantastic. But for someone like me, I only need the space for 3 hours, and I only have a group of 6 people or 15 people or even 20 people. So we want to pay a permit fee because I believe in supporting the resources. Someone has to pay for the landscaping, the water, the bathroom services, and we're happy to do that. But it doesn't make sense for us to pay a $400 permit special use fee for a 3-hour event for 12 people. And I would love to work with some of the local city groups to bridge that gap, because we do want to pay our dues.
Definitely.
And right now it's really a shame, because there's a particular park, for example, that's very popular that we were doing so many things at, and it was all out of town people. And that park and they have a beginning $400 permit fee. And so now we have to push those people to private locations, which is fine, because we like doing that. We have those partnerships.
And you have those connections,
But I would love that money to go to the city. You know, and they want it. And really it makes sense, because we provide all of our own labor. We do all of our cleanup. You know, we even the wineries we work with, they often say to us, we didn't even know you were here today, because we try to keep it as enclosed as possible.
I love that.
So that we're not taking their staff, their resources, their time, you know.
Definitely.
That's the goal. They shouldn't even know that we're there.
That's so cool. I love that. And that you clean up that well after too.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Yeah, no, that's definitely something where maybe if they had like shorter time periods for permits, or like even a package with you would be so cool, where for your clients it's this much, you know, because they know you're not going to be there as much. Yeah, it's hard to get through that though. Yeah, for sure.
But we've had a lot of cities that were, some of them have even just been honest and said, hey, we know we don't have something for that. So if you get to a certain group size, call us and we'll figure something out. But until then, you know, we're okay with this. And that's been phenomenal. So, I mean, we've had way more support than challenge. But I would love to just break that barrier so we can keep that money in the cities.
That would be awesome. That's great. Really helpful to know. As a locally owned business, how do you engage with and contribute to our community?
So right now, in our first few years, we do all of the normal things as far as donations and things like that, but which can be tough. And I'm actually in the middle of writing a book. I have the outline and the beginning of it kind of, but it's from the business owner's perspective and as somebody that comes from corporate fundraising. To kind of explain how to those nonprofits, how we can be of better use to them and vice versa so that more money can be raised, but in a more efficient way. And I say that because we get asked for a lot of donations and all of the nonprofits will say, we'll shout you out or we'll put your name on a banner, which don't get me wrong. Those things are nice. But if somebody like my service, which takes a significant amount of time and labor, is going to get the same thing on a brochure that a $15 gift certificate from a coffee shop is going to get, it doesn't make that much sense for me to do it that way. So I like to get more involved than that. I like to do, we have a lot of schools that ask us to come and set up at an event, and I would rather do that. Even though it's more money out of my pocket, it allows clients to really see the service and make more of a connection than just being handed a gift certificate from us. So I'm kind of I'm working through that right now. And then we also have a really great program that people love, especially here in Petaluma. As I said, we work with local florists, and a lot of times people will order, if it's a corporate event, it'll be $800 worth of flowers, and they can't take them because they're all getting on a plane and going somewhere. So when that happens, we do a post on Facebook. Sometimes we pick a theme, let us know your favorite coach, your favorite first responder.
Oh, I love that.
We did favorite wait staff. We did favorite bartender. I try to think of things that are not the things that normally get the thank you, right? And we try to think of things that kids are going to want to do because kids don't have any money, but they want to thank their teacher and they're this and they're that.
That's so sweet.
And people love it because they're not expecting it, and we're getting to reuse those flowers, and it brings joy to someone that wasn't expecting it. And some days we don't even give it a theme, and we just will say whoever wants them, and people will say, we had someone that said that their best friend's dog had passed away the day before, or someone got a tough diagnosis or something. So be able to make something useful again and bring that happiness to people and not have it cost money out of their pocket, which makes both of those parties happy. I love it. I think it's one of the most fun things that we do.
That's so beautiful. It's a great way to use what you already have for a random act of kindness. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I love
it. Brilliant. Coming off of business for a little bit, what are 3 fun facts about you personally? Everyone's favorite question.
Right. Well, because you automatically go blank, right?
Yes, when it's about you. Totally. Who am I? Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad nobody's asked me yet, because I'd be like, what?
Right. It's one of those things. So I have 2 Boston Terriers that are
cute.
Our kids.
Yes.
Their name's Suki and Cairo for any of their fans at the dog park. I have 2 nieces that go to CASA that are the most important thing.
That's amazing.
And they're the funniest kids, which is such a sense of pride in my life because my sisters and I are very sarcastic and funny. And the fact that they have been able to turn a joke since they were so little, I feel like their first sarcastic comment was like them taking their first steps.
That's
I'm so proud of you.
You're just like me.
Their comedic timing.
That's amazing.
They're hilarious.
Yeah.
And let's see. Another thing that's interesting, I think, is I have a weird minor from college, which was Holocaust, Genocide, and Peace Studies.
That's a minor?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my major is social work, but I did that one, and it allowed me to work with gangs and hate groups.
Wow.
Which I know sounds weird, but I was always fascinated.
Yeah.
And later, when I came back after college, I worked at San Quentin for a few years, and that really helped me because I worked with mentoring kids that have incarcerated parents.
Yep.
And And I think all of these things are why nothing to do with my business is that stressful to me.
I think that's a really good point. You can roll with anything because you've seen way worse.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really amazing. I didn't know any of that. So I love that. I didn't realize you had nieces at CASA too.
Oh, yeah.
That's so great. That's fantastic.
I would say their names, but they'd probably kill me.
I know. I don't say my kids' names anyways, just in case for that same reason. So they'll have to listen to the episode now.
That's
how much their aunt loves them. Yes. So, and they're lucky to have you. That aunt life is pretty awesome.
It really is.
I've got a niece and nephew as well that I just adore. So at the end of each episode, I like to ask, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to that's really helped you in your career?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we kind of touched on them earlier, but Julia from Bell Farm Collective and her mom, Jeanette, like her whole family. One of the coolest things about starting this business was that when we were hit with COVID and as everybody was trying to navigate through that, Julia and I partnered on a lot of events and created this really amazing friendship based around like business support, but then we also became, actual friends. And
that's amazing.
She and her whole family have supported like every, again, crazy idea I've ever had. And, she has done so much for creating these opportunities for local women and local business owners to get together. And she's so sincere. I mean, I think as women, we always start out cautious of like, what will this like friendship or whatever look like. And she just is a girl's girl and she always wants everyone to succeed. And, I think she gets that from her mom too. And,
that's wonderful.
So that for sure. And then again, Amber from Preferred Sonoma Caterers has been another one. And Annie who works for her. That whole team was fantastic in a first year when there were so many questions about how I wanted to do things and, trial and error. And Amber's such a pro.
She's so creative too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And she understands the event flow.
She came up with mac and cheese vegan made out of cashews. Like
she's amazing.
How?
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
Yeah. I'm not surprised at all. Yeah. She's
and then of
very
course
talented.
My sister Stephanie. I mean, she has been such a help all throughout the way. And she has owned her business since she was like I think 19. So, I mean, amazing. She knows business and she knows the local community and she went to St. Vincent's and everything. So all of her connections, and I joke that she's my VP of marketing because she goes so hard for pushing, like telling people about my business.
That's amazing to have someone in your corner.
I would never even think like she finds a way. So.
That is so awesome. Those are all like really amazing people.
Oh, I'm very lucky.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And if anybody missed the episode that Julia Marble was on, she came in it must have been 2 months ago now. But for anybody that wants to go back and learn more about Julia, she's incredible. But they all are. So I think especially social media for you because people need to see photos of what you do. But where can my listeners find you?
So the place that we post the most is Instagram at which is picnic.potential. After pretty much every reel within a few weeks, we post I just said that backwards. After every picnic, we post a reel on Instagram.
Great.
And then we also are on TikTok and Facebook.
Great.
I think we're on everything except for MySpace.
Does that still exist? I feel like we should look it up and just find out. Right? It's I wonder if it does. Do I still have a profile?
Right? Can I figure out the background codes anymore?
Totally.
You can see a direct line when I was in college of when MySpace came out because my grades definitely did.
That's so funny. I would love to know like what music was I playing in the background when I left MySpace.
Top 8,
who are my top 8
now?
Oh my gosh, I would love to go back and look at that. Yes.
Right. But yeah, and then of course we have our website, which is just picnicpotential.com.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun. And I appreciate that you're trying to get the word out for all these businesses because it means the world to all of us.
I love that. Well, thank you. I'm so honored to have everybody in here and that everyone's been taking the time to do this. It's fantastic. So
absolutely.
Thank you. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
If you like what you hear, please be sure to like and subscribe, learn more about Sonoma County and all that we have to offer here.